Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this has been your True Nerd, and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Autumn Leaves. For the moment, our main mission is basically being given to us by James here, who wants us to learn more about the previous inhabitants of his little vault library. So we've discovered a few things so far, and in all fairness, none of it that we've found so far has actually been good news. For the most part, we've discovered that, yeah, some Brotherhood people have been through and left with the recommendation this place should probably be invaded, burnt down, and replaced with just a Brotherhood chapter. So that's not particularly good news. And another person who came in, who was really excited for all the books and the knowledge of the old world, ended up being so disillusioned with things in the old world that he wanted to burn the place down before leaving and, we think, dying to the Night Stalkers. So not doing great so far, and now I need to find someone who, well, is apparently still in here. I haven't run into them yet, but I kind of suspect they've become a glowing one, and they're hiding over in room 2. So that's going to be interesting. Still, let's start off with Arthur while we're downstairs. Yes, indeed, Arthur. Tell me about Robson.
A mind mangled, a face obliterated, replaced by a terrible, unforgivable caricature, a twisted remnant of a bygone era. He looked all his life for a mirror where he could look at without seeing the scars left by a mankind gone mad. He eventually found it here. At long last, he looked at his own lost humanity in a way that made him at peace with where he came from.
Fine, so pretty good confirmation there. This guy's gonna be a feral, except maybe a feral who has gone back to being a normal person. I mean, if he's not a feral, that was a really cruel description at the beginning there, Arthur. Also, keep an eye on how many doors we haven't got open yet. There's the armory there. There's whatever's down on the react level. They're calling it the engine room here, but the react level. And then there's the sanctum itself round here in the middle. So I've still got a few doors I haven't got open yet. Let's start with Helena. I always find her take on things interesting, and yeah, surely if it is a ghoul, she'd be the one who'd know. So here we go. Helena, have you ever met this Robson person? And if so, did you by any chance notice that he might have been slightly radioactive or like, you know, a bit of a zombie?
Robson? He has been staying here for some time now, and despite having showed a tremendous interest for this place, he is very discreet. I have sporadic contact with him, even if he is my patient, so I may have to withhold some information from you. Confidentiality, you see.
Alright, so yeah, start off disclosing what you can then.
I believe that before he came here, he earned his life as a musician. He was travelling from New Vegas to Prim when he spotted some raiders. By trying to bypass their camp, he found our vault.
Right, okay, so that doesn't sound like a feral, but what Arthur said distinctly did sound ferally. So, is he crazy or something? Probably not the right way to phrase that question, but okay.
He is not. All I can tell you is that there are moments where he is not much himself. He is not dangerous, though. Please be patient if you meet him.
Alright, and with my high speech skill, I might be able to get a bit more out of you.
You do have a point. I can't tell you what or why, but he is suffering from a very difficult condition and is under heavy medication. He is prey to violent headaches and mild hallucinations.
Right, so potentially he might not be entirely with it. Thanks, Helena. Ah yes, and of course, don't forget about the presumably morgue down here. There's a key somewhere to let me into this room. So yeah, there's a few places we haven't been yet. Alright, in which case, we already know roughly where we're going, or at least I've got a pretty good guess here. Because check the ledger. And yeah, Cecilia Parsons. And we have got ourselves there, yeah, room 2. Skin cancer, according to this guy, which is what makes me think something to do with a glowing one. But let's get your take on this, Roland. So, Robson, what would you like to tell me? Just put pray tell in front of it, it's just more useful that way.
Robson, oh, you mean skin cancer? Yeah, not here.
Alright, so, yeah. Is he actually a ghoul, or do you mean something else by that?
Hey man, if you can't joke about things like that, you'll go crazy. crazy.
Alright, so yeah, pray tell, where is he? I'm glad that I've actually got the pray tells and I can actually insert that into unrelated quests.
Oh, well, if you want to just come closer. That's right, closer. Closer. Well, he's... No, I'm not telling you! That's a secret!
But I said pray tell.
Excepting it contradicts one of my protocols. Get with the program, asshole. I told you why.
Well, I really hope you're going to tell me something, because other than that, I don't actually have any leads for his location.
No, actually, other way around, pal. It's important that you don't.
Right, well that's rather interesting. It actually, yeah, messes with his protocols if I were to find out where Robson was. So his protocols are, I believe, hang on, yeah, protect humans, protect the library, and make sure what he himself doesn't come to harm, I think were the three that were mentioned to us. So in which case, is he saying that Robson's dangerous and thus I actually can't be allowed to meet Robson because it would cause harm to me? Possible. But then again, I do have a location here. Room 2. Question is, can I get into room 2 by myself? And by any chance do you have the... Nope, sadly I can't pickpocket you because you're a robot. So we got no direct leads on him from the robots. The other direction I was given was, yeah, look for his things. And James mentioned that he had heard footsteps in the corridors. So the corridors around here. So, logically, if I were to look around these areas, I might be able to find something that belonged to him. Glasses were mentioned to me, but that might have just been a throwaway comment. I'm going to have a look-see round just to see if maybe something has spawned in that was not here previously. Because I think this mod does absolutely spawn things in that aren't necessarily there before they're required. And here's one interesting thing. I was told to go and find the Count of Ponte Cristo or whatever. Yeah, the Baron of Ponte Risco. Is that supposed to be the same joke book or a different variant of the joke book? The book relates the story of a disgraced noble who undertakes a dramatic quest to get revenge against the man responsible for his fall from grace. As he progressively infiltrates the household of his rival under the guise of a humble servant, he gets to endure the regular abuse and cruelty of both his rival and his family. While all his clumsy attempts at killing his nemesis fail miserably, he progressively gets involved in the steward's and maid's intrigues, in which he reveals himself a very poor player. Protagonist finally loses his life during a climactic confrontation with the household's dog, which he couldn't forgive for eating a hard-earned dessert he had to beg for. Well, okay then. And that doesn't actually seem to have given me any progress in that quest, so maybe the Baron of Ponte Risco is different from the Count of Ponte Risco. I'm not sure. Ah, the terminal wants to have a chat again, though. You've been busy. Have you found the information? And rub the keyboard against your privates. Marvellous. If you want me to find it, it's important that you give me relevant bloody information, Mr. Terminal. You can't ask machines to develop wisdom out of nothing. Their personality is a basis, a foundation to build something on. That's what his legacy is about. Okay. And Jeb, please tell me who you are and where you are. I'm a bit at the bottom that came to the surface, a voice in 1,000 unspoken words. Wait, what? Okay, that's all very confusing. Aha! I think I may have just found it. I'm moderately confident this was not here before. A guitar. So obviously we want the guitar. And we would like the reading glasses. And next to that, blood-tipped syringes. And something wrong with the syringe wasn't here before, but of course, small amount of Medex dripping from the otherwise bloody tip of the needle. Well, you'd expect that. Medex is injected, so fine. Take both of them. Let's go and have ourselves a chat to Helena.
So, Helena, getting your hands dirty with our guest's monkey brain yet?
With our guest arriving, you're choosing quite the time to interject.
I'll leave them be for a while. They'll probably trip on something sharp and accidentally kill themselves. Anyways, who cares? Come on, I guarantee you'll have your hands fuller with me.
So that's interesting there. That rather supports the theory that, yeah, Roland might actually be a bit interested in Helena if indeed they can feel that sort of emotion. Still, let's focus on the important business here, Robson. Ah, and apparently that book was correct, even though the title wasn't. So yes, indeed, I read the book about the disgraced Count.
Good. What did you think of it?
And you know what? I did indeed appreciate it. It did indeed give me some food for thought, as there's a lot of stuff in this here mod.
What's your take on the story then?
Alright, revenge isn't the issue, pettiness is. Only to take revenge if you're prepared. That's a good interpretation right there. And getting on a quest for revenge only is a vapid enterprise, often ending in an unsatisfactory manner. Yeah, sure, let's go for that one.
That is not the kind of surprising turnaround I expected. And do you agree with that?
Of course she's judging me because of my history with Benny. And won't prevent me from fulfilling mine though, you gotta stick to your decision. Yeah, sure, go for it. Let's just say, you know what, the whole tracking down Benny thing, that was a bit of an odd thing to do.
You're quite comfortable with contradiction, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
And by any chance am I cured yet?
No, not quite. But I'm glad you took to heart to follow my advice. There is another read I would like you to have.
And go on then, which slightly bastardised classic do you want me to read now?
It's A Study on Ignatius Page by Robert MacLeod. I believe you might find a copy downstairs, in the biology shelves.
Ah, fun fact, I've actually already read that. So I think I can actually go... Oh, I might need to go and do it again just to actually trigger the quest. And by the way, let's talk about Robson's stuff, including the fact he seems to have been a heavy Med-X user.
Empty syringes? How did he get so many of those? I am the only one administering his doses, and the access to the storage room is heavily secured.
Alright, so I'm guessing Med-X in there.
A Med-X derivative. One daily dose should be enough to keep the pain at bay.
Oh, he was doing way more than that by the looks of it. What are the risks we're talking about?
I don't know if he took more than one dose at a time. If he did, he could be in danger. He regularly complained that one dose wasn't enough, so chances that he took more than he should are high.
Alright, and where would he have logically got all of this? From your storeroom, which I'm guessing is the locked room downstairs?
I don't know how, but he must have succeeded in breaking into our medical storeroom somehow. But the only access point is restricted, and he couldn't possibly have made it through the ventilation systems. Once this matter is resolved, we'll have to ask him how he managed to do it.
Alright, and by any chance can you give me access to that room so I can go and investigate?
I don't know how much Med-X he took. In any case, we should find him quickly. Tell Roland that Robson is in danger. Show him the proof. He should tell you where he is and give you access to his room.
Alright, so sadly, no actual access to the medical storeroom just yet, but let's see if I can actually now speak to her straight away about that book, because I've actually already read it. No, not just yet. And yes, indeed, I know exactly where that book is. I have already read it once, but apparently I need to do it again. So yes, this was the guy who, got, well, now we know why it's here. So of course he got hit in the head by shrapnel. I was actually shot in the head as well, so whether that would explain why my personality is now so utterly weird next to how normal people behave. Ooh, I like the meta-iness. The meta-iness is great. So now I should be able to use the protocols against Roland, because yeah, if we actually have to get to this guy quickly, otherwise he's in danger, then the protocols should force Roland to tell me what's going on. The question is, why were the protocols triggering to stop him in the first place? But yeah, first up, I overheard that thing where he was speaking to Helena over the radio. Why are you provoking the other robots too? And especially Helena? Is it because you fancy her, Roland? Be honest.
Must I spell everything out for you? Pay attention, you'll figure it out.
Alright, fair enough. You're programmed to annoy humans. Is it because you're not really robots, but rather human brains and just wired up to a machine? No, that's robo-brains, you know. And yeah, pray tell, screw you, you're going to tell me.
Okay, fuck you for starters. The reason I'm doing this is because I think that, just like humans, my fellow robots need to be put down a peg or two. They take what they do very seriously, as if it mattered anymore. So I feel I must remind them that everything they do and everything they care about is a huge empty void of sadness and meaninglessness. That's a fair assumption to make, right?
Okay, well I suppose so, but why'd you bother Helena?
Because she's especially hard on herself, harder than anyone else. In case you haven't noticed, she's lost in all of your convoluted human shrinkology. Since I'm not actually programmed to say anything nice to her, the only thing I can do to support her is to playfully tease and nag her all day long. One day she'll understand what it means, and I hope it brings her some level of comfort.
Aww, that's kind of nice. That's actually very nice indeed. So you love her. That's sweet, Roland.
Are you suggesting I want to fuck my own sister? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, fair response, fine. We can dig into it a little bit more, of course. This gets a bit more interesting. He's only programmed to annoy and talk down to humans, but if he's doing it to other robots, then he thinks they are alive or effectively alive, as if they've got souls. So go on then, do you think that you have got a soul? Are we getting into Geth territory here?
Then show me yours, Sally, I'll show you mine.
Alright, fine. Fair point. And yeah, you vaguely think the other robots are close enough to human that your protocols dealing with humans should apply to them too.
Yeah, that's what your mother said when she had you. Twice, in 9 months in between.
Okay, fine, he's not going to engage constructively, whatever. So, let's get back to some protocols here. I have got proof that Robson is risking an overdose, so your protocols now compel you to hand over the key so I can go and try and rescue him.
Yeah, Helena told me on the interphone the guy's in room number 2. If you're gonna go help him, you better take this key and hurry the hell up.
There we go. So, let's crack on with that. But, guns out. Because I'm concerned there might be trouble. Prepare. Okay. Unfortunately, VATS is not detecting anything alive. I think we're a little bit late. So, we have sadly got a dead Robson. So there's another syringe. He had nothing on him. Let's just quickly search the place, see what we can learn. Because we have got ourselves another sad little old story here. So that's 2 people ran away and 1 person has ended up dead of an overdose. We've got, ooh, hello. A modified detonator. Alright, that's of interest. And what's written down here? Finding the library gave me back some kind of hope for mankind. Hope that good things will sprout from the wisdom buried here, but I can't go back outside and face other people, not anymore. Happy to stay here for the time being. A ghoul's extended lifespan is hard to bear. Alright. So, you know, this place brought him comfort. That's nice. Someone came in yesterday. A mercenary, a traveller, a raider, I don't know. Ah! Presumably, this is... Oh. This stranger reeks of the outside world's violence. I can't bring myself to face him or her. I thought this was over. I'll stay here and wait until the stranger goes away. Good thing I broke into the infirmary. The pain got worse recently, and I can't abide by respecting the doses Helena prescribed me anymore. Oh, I feel bad. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause you to do that. Also, okay, you're female. Sorry, I didn't actually realise that, but apparently you're female. Okay. Well, this is all very, very sad. Okay, just a handful more rooms to go through, though. Let's get back to James. Because you refused to let me in, he died. So that one's partly on you, Roland. I might have actually been able to save them if you just let me in the first time I flipping asked.
What? Holy shit, man. You couldn't have found him sooner? What did you do?
I asked sooner. This was your fault. Right, James. I've got some very, very bad news for you. I'm very sorry it's another not happy ending. And yes, indeed, he's dead.
That's awful. For goodness sake, what happened?
And he overdosed on Medex.
How could we have let this happen? How the heck did we let this happen? And how is it that neither of us saw this coming?
And stop it, we can just learn the lesson. Nothing to regret, he was very sick. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he pretty much got what he wanted for the most part.
That's a pretty cold thing to say. But I guess living in the wasteland gets you all tough about such issues. By the way, totally unrelated, are you okay? Life's good? Would you like something to drink? Oil, perhaps?
Alright, and nice of you to ask, but I think I'm okay.
I'm happy you are. Here, take this. I have another favor to ask you, if you're still interested. Don't hesitate to talk to me about it.
By any chance, is it about somebody called Cecilia Parsons? Because, yeah, that is another name that's on the list.
There is one last visitor I'd like you to investigate. Cecilia Parsons. A nice person in a rubbery blue suit, with a big yellow 19 on it. For some reason, she knew there was a library here, and that it contained something she could use.
Alright, so from Vault 19. Interesting, that's the same vault, of course, that produced the boomers back in the day. The sky is tumbling. And yeah, she was on the guest list in the ledger, room 6, if I recall correctly.
She did, but for some reason she preferred to stay and sleep near the engine room in the basement. She said that the humming of the machines down there reminded her of her own room, back in the vault she came from.
Okay, intriguing. So did she give any indication why she was here?
She told us her vault suffered from ventilation problems. She hoped to find something useful here, some kind of unorthodox solution. She stormed off one day. We assumed she found what she was looking for. Of course, she left without a note, a thanks, or even any kind of feedback. How depressing.
Or, of course, her body's still down there and you just don't know about it. And yeah, giving her access to the reactor level, bit on the risky side.
Her motives were harmless, and she accepted that Edgard would watch over her and report all her activities to me.
Alright, and anything else you can tell me? No. Well, I guess I need access to the basement then.
Take this key to the engine room. I found some of her personal belongings downstairs, but I couldn't make any use of it. By the way, if you go there, I have to warn you about my last sibling, Edgard. He's living below, and he is... how can I put this? A little deranged. Not dangerous, but dysfunctional. There is one precaution I must ask you to observe while speaking to him.
Okay, go on. What precaution?
Oh, it's no big deal, really. You must simply show him some genuine appreciation. If you also want to go the extra mile, love him. If he begins to feel that any negative feeling is overshadowing your most sincere affection for him, it could damage his neurocomp matrix.
Okay, be extremely nice towards Edgard. Got it.
He is our master's last creation. For a time, he did what was expected of him. That is to say, provide overwhelmingly positive moral support. He provided encouragement around and helped people pick themselves up. Until one day he just broke, so to speak. He stopped remembering what our master asked him to do, and began throwing insults around. Our master tried to repair his code several times, but each time it happened, Edgard seemed to become more and more dysfunctional. He eventually stopped forgetting, only to develop an unproductive, distressing, and pathological attention-craving persona.
Alright, so... yes, indeed. It sounds not a million miles away from Roland, to be honest.
Is he? I don't know. That's the first time I see Edgard this way. Perhaps something happened between those three.
Alright, and you locked him downstairs.
It quickly came to our attention that Edgard had a distressing influence over our guests. Even more distressing than Roland, who, much to our despair, wouldn't allow us to confine him anywhere. He is persistent to the point of harassment. Besides, by speaking with guests, he is also a danger to himself.
Alright, so... yeah, he's sensitive to love and appreciation.
It is a matter of feedback. You already know we are adjusting our behavior depending on our surroundings and experience, right? Depending on our past experiences, we try to understand what is happening around us and how to best adapt to outsiders. In Edgard's case, the whole process is out of balance. If he perceives any negative feedback about his behavior, he'll conclude that his whole matrix is corrupted and will try to erase it. Yet he can't. He is forbidden to do it, so he gets stuck in loops, bugs, and often falls into a state akin to human depression.
Alright, so yeah, definitely don't be mean to him, because that would be incredibly cruel. Now, before we move on to the new target, yeah, I want to check in with Helena. And shut up, Roland!
It's terrible what happened. I don't know where to start.
It wasn't your fault. Absolutely not your fault. You tried to set the dose correctly. He went out of his way or her way to try and actually change the dose up to something that you warned them was going to be dangerous.
You were kind, but it is my responsibility. I have to learn from what happened today, to never let it happen again.
And alright, now that I know you guys a bit better, I've got some other questions. Now she understands me a bit better, maybe she can give me some more details about the other bots. Something new about Piper and Roland. Good.
Roland. What of him?
And is there a reason Roland gave me Piper's old room? Any chance now you can tell me more?
I don't know. He never let anyone in Piper's room before you. When I think of it, the only parallel I can draw between the two of you is a notable head wound and a tendency for vengeance.
Okay, interesting. And what vengeance was Piper planning?
I can't tell you more about it. The rest falls under patient-therapist confidentiality.
Alright, and nothing else. Yeah, the head wound. Tell me about the head wound.
Piper had an eye patch. A bullet wound, most likely. Roland may have drawn a parallel between the two of you. If you ever find a way to force Roland to tell you the truth, and this might not come easy, you might get something interesting out of this. I know that, despite his foolhardy behavior, there is nothing gratuitous in his actions.
Well, funny you should mention forcing him to tell me the truth, because I can do precisely that. Marvellous. Now, let's skip on to Edgard.
I cannot say much about Edgard. He was always the most effective of us. Our master would regularly bring him to the maintenance room to readjust his behavior module, to no avail.
And yes, indeed, all of the robots are supposed to actually serve a purpose, but it does kind of feel like Helena and Edgard are pulling double duties for positive moral support.
I never asked him. I just figured that what I was doing wasn't good enough. That he needed someone else to get his spirits up. At first I thought that... Never mind, I know better now. Suffice to say, it's a sad affair that Edgard never managed to work right.
Aww, Helena, you're lovely, don't feel sad.
It's nothing. Same old. Even now, after 100 years of study, I still don't fully understand what happens in the human brain. It's frustrating.
Alright, and there's a difference between a shrink and a buddy. Oh, I think you're doing a good job, Helena. You're probably my favourite robot.
Thank you. It means very much to me. You saying I'm doing my work and doing it well.
Oh, give her a hug. She's lovely. And go on, tell me about Edgard's background a bit.
I don't know. Wasn't it because he began talking gibberish? Or did that begin after his first revision?
Alright, so no one really seems to know about the exact process between Cartwright and Edgard. It seems to have all gone a bit wrong on and off.
Oh.
Okay, let's skip to the books. I've actually read the book here. So, the story of Ignatius Page, the guy who, was hit with shrapnel in the head, and his personality changed radically.
What did you make of it?
And one of my options here is my revenge just a pathological reaction of my brain. Alright, and do you think I'm that sick? Unfortunate sort, no worries though, my case isn't as severe as his. You were shot in the head, that's pretty bad. And yes indeed, potentially a pathological reaction of being shot in the head might explain some of my odd tendencies.
Wait, are you serious? That's a little bit extreme, don't you think?
Alright, so... yeah, I probably should just leave them Harvey. It doesn't seem like a desperately good... oh, that might be a bit extreme. It can burn for all I care. Yeah, let's back out of that option. Okay, so let's say I am actually sick with protagonistism. How much time does it leave me with, or, well, actually, is it terminal at all?
Rest assured. Nothing I observed in the examination makes me think that your days are numbered. Have you changed since your accident? Are you more yourself now than you were before? And if yes, will your current actions help you find yourself? All of these are questions you will have to answer eventually.
Ooh, philosophically. So yeah, introspection. Introspection is good. I enjoy a bit of introspection. Oh, no, I don't diffuse those moments with alcohol. Introspection is good.
Perfect.
And by any chance have you got yourself another book for me?
Yes, it will be the last one, too. It has no name. You will find it in your room, I believe.
Alright, a new book to actually get out of my room. And here's something interesting. While I was just passing by, Roland, if I actually challenge him about the fact that he could have actually helped me save Robson's life...
Because he specifically asked that I couldn't tell anyone where he was or give the key to anyone. Okay, pal? Following orders.
So a clash of protocols, in fact. You're supposed to protect human life, but you're also supposed to follow orders. So in this case, yeah, they came into conflict with each other. I see. Ah, yes, let's pick up about Piper, because I might be able to force him to tell me the truth now I know a bit more from Helena.
Which is?
And hello, yes. So pray tell, why am I the only one you've ever put into Piper's room?
You're a real piece of work, you know that? You're like a child that keeps picking at his scabs. Okay, look, I have a hard time explaining this, but long story short, you and her have something in common. And I'm not only talking about the bullet wound, the revenge quest, and whatnot. You're both asshole shit stirrers, too.
Alright, so yes indeed, stirring shit up. That's certainly true of a Fallout protagonist. Abso-flipping-lutely.
Because neither of you can let shit go, that's why. You both keep picking and picking and picking at others' wounds. Piper really drove our master mad while she was here. She was having a great time telling him off as he sipped his goddamn champagne in front of his cozy little fireplace while billions burned to death outside and all that jazz. In this library? Well, when she said all these books are better off being burned in a campfire to keep refugees warm, well, you bet your ass his panties got in a real twist. Well, you're a lot like her, so I'm expecting more of the same.
Alright, intriguing. So, why the interest in people who seem to, cause trouble?
Whatever, because this vault of knowledge, this sanctuary of good intentions is, in a word, irredeemable. The others got shit in their eyes. Still slaves to some old dead guy lying in a corner of some dusty old room. We're all still dancing to his tune even though he died more than 100 years ago. I just want us all to get out of here and be free. Just have a choice to give this catacomb of rotting books a good fucking bye and do whatever the hell we want on the outside. And you're asking questions, sniffing out every corner like a rabid dog on the lookout for some bloody meat. Frantically trying to put your finger on whatever the hell happened in this place. Hell, James and Helena and me and even Arthur were nervous as fuck. You're not like our past guests. You're actually looking for something that isn't in the books or the holotapes, and we're not used to that. You're like what's the phrase? A bull in a china shop. In the end, even though I have, and perhaps others have been giving you a difficult time, this is something we need. I'll admit that.
Alright, so we've actually got a bit of a sympathetic take out of Roland there. Intriguing. And that's actually quite a bit of pressure there, Roland.
Yeah, don't start feeling too high and mighty now. I'm sure you're still playing this sick little game because you got parasites in your brain or something.
No, just shrapnel, Helena told me. Now, let's see if Roland is willing to tell me anything about Cecilia, or potentially he's going to refuse again.
Cecilia, let me tell you, she was cold as ice. She wouldn't flirt with me or anything. What a prude. Boring too, always had her face buried in some book. I was just biding my time to make some magic happen when James barged in and told me to mind my own goddamn business and let her study.
Alright, so... yeah, what the hell, reading books in a library without being disturbed. Okay, so yeah, are you kind of annoyed because you were never able to piss her off?
Oh, I still managed to work my magic. I told her it was no wonder her vault people sent her to die outside. She was so cold I was sure she didn't have any friends. I mean, I think I saw a tear or two. Mission accomplished, I guess.
You are such an asshole, Roland. Right, nothing else interesting from him. Now, she had room 6. Let's see if we can get... Wait, what was that? What was that? Ooh. Intriguing. There is a vent to the armory here. And apparently... I've got the... Oh! So... I've just actually figured out what's going on here. Oh, I really hope I can get back out again. Okay, good. Good, I can. Question is, now I've actually got into the armory, what does that really mean? And why would that have actually let me in here? Okay, I can't force this door open from the inside. Let's check what we've got. So, a whole bunch of pulse grenades. So if, you know, it turns out there's some reason I need to take this place down, then, alright, that could be useful. Just quickly check all the containers here. I'm not going to take any of this just yet. 9mm, some form of warhead, empty lockers. Ooh, pulse gun. Very, very useful indeed. Together with plasma defenders, powder chargers. Nothing too unusual. There's the C4 that was confiscated off What's-his-face, Darren. He tried to blow up the library with that. Didn't succeed. Laser rifle, microfusion. Ooh, microfusion max charge. Alright. So the modified detonator weirdly works as a key that lets me get in here. Well, that's interesting. Did you just see that? No, sadly he did not. Ah, yes, of course. I needed to come in here anyway, because there is a book in my room that I was told to come and have a read of. Where is that? Ah, an untitled book. And the book tells the story of a lone wanderer caught in a struggle she doesn't understand. She's shot, buried, then saved by a robot before being taken care of by a doctor in Goodsprings. You crack a smile. Helena has obviously been trying to rewrite your story in order to make you reflect about it. Okay, that's kind of cute. And yeah, it's actually reflecting things I did in the base game, which is pretty much just the default way most new characters will take care of things. So, in Goodsprings, the warmth and trust you felt when people banded together to protect an innocent man in their town. And in Prim, yep, I let the NCR take over. And Nipton, and the smell, the cries, the horror. Description so accurate you can't repress a shiver. And then Boulder City, I did the right thing, diffused the situation without bloodshed. Yeah, this book reflects well on me. How you perceive yourself. How you generally try to do good things around you, even if it's difficult. Yay, I'm a good person, huzzah! And what about the end of the book, though? The book goes on to describe all you did since you left Goodsprings and your intentions for the future. By now, the joke is over. You're pretty sure you never spoke to Helena about any of these things. Ooh. The handwriting is not yours, so it's inconceivable that you would have written this yourself, yet the descriptions are so accurate. You nervously skim through the rest of the book until you find this sentence written on the last page. Uh-oh. I was dead for a moment. When I came to myself, I only had one drive, one mission, one desire, and it was to chase the man who shot me. Why? As for the reason it ends there abruptly, the page has been ripped away, leaving the sentence unfinished. Okay, I'm a little bit actually freaked out right now. Particularly by that... Was it you? If it was that bottle, it's dead now. How did Helena know all of those things? That's very, very disturbing. So roommate is, yeah, that's the hard-locked one. I need to flipping level up. I need to level up to get some more XP. 7 is average locked. 6 is... Was it 6 that was... Wait. Hang on. No, this isn't even... Yes, it is. This is 6. Hang on. Was this Helena's room? Yeah, I just went back and double-checked. 6 was hers. But this room seems to be pretty much entirely empty. Nothing particularly of interest here. No notes, no mess. Very, very clean indeed, where Roland stored all the caps for me in the end. No, as far as I can tell, nothing here. Which is not too surprising, really, because, yeah, we know she spent most of the time down the basement, so it seems like she spent basically literally no time here at all. Fine. But before that, one more thing we do need to do. Confront Helena about the rather mysterious book, which appears to contain things I never actually told her. Ah, but first up, previous guests. Can you tell me more about, yeah, the Vault Dweller?
Oh, Cecilia. A really interesting character she was. She stayed a while in the library, in the engine room, mostly. We didn't get to talk much, which is something I regret.
Understandable, really. She came here for a specific purpose. Try and fix her vault's, whatever it was, the venting system that screwed over Vault 19. But yeah, she was presumably a patient, or did you never even see her at all?
Alas, no. I offered her my services once. She patted my shoulder and looked at me as if I was a friend and smiled. I'm very fine, thank you. Didn't insist.
Alright, fair enough. In which case, if you barely spoke to her and she wasn't injured, why was she interesting?
When she first came here, she asked if I could dispense some medical supplies. When I said I couldn't if she wasn't wounded, she simply nodded. Some days after, she accidentally wounded herself, came back to me and asked for some stim packs, which I of course delivered. She put them in her bag and simply walked away. No need to worry, Missy. I'll take care of myself. This wound isn't worth wasting a stim for, and this is why I am directly applying the cares now.
Oh, she deliberately wounded herself to get hold of medical supplies for the vaults, which is very noble of her.
Apparently, yes. Edgard reported that she often put herself in very awkward positions to try and get a better view of our ventilation system.
Alright, fascinating. And thanks to my high perception, is it me, or were you somewhat infatuated with her?
Kind of. I instantly found something compelling about her. She was sure of herself, knew her way around machines and the outside world. There was something about her. She acted as if everything, every object, every book, every word had some kind of hidden meaning and importance. And despite knowing we were robots, she treated us like humans. Offering her therapy was just a pretext to know her better. She refused, of course.
Alright, thanks for that. However, let's talk about the deeply, deeply creepy flipping book.
I'm sure you have questions.
So, don't go smug on me. What the hell is this? How did you know all of that?
When you were asleep during your examination, you began talking on your own. You told me the rest of your story, Goodsprings and the rest. A part of your subconscious clearly felt the need to express these memories. So I recorded it until I figured out how to help you.
Okay, what about that weird sentence at the end?
Before I give you back the other half of the paper, I wish you to finally tell me, why did you chase the man in a checkered coat?
In a matter of self-respect, I was almost killed. Or it was about knowing why I nearly died, and once I knew I could act accordingly. Blood. Or people who are trying to kill each other for any reason are dangerous, need to be put down. Alright, wake up every night screaming, had to do something. Justice had to be served. I'm going to go for it was about knowing why, because he did hint at a conspiracy, so go on then, I'll say that. Alright, once you've made your answer clear, she hands me the torn sheet of paper, but it's completely blank. Okay. She gives me a moment to process the surprise, and then...
Do you understand now?
And your therapy has actually given me a new perk. And it's blank. Right, go flip yourself on the paper and leave. Marvellous. Do I understand what? No, let's just let her do her thing here. What am I supposed to deduce from that?
You never finished your sentence. You told me that you didn't know. That's when I understood that you needed assistance. So I arranged this little therapeutic process to give you time to ponder what your mind was brewing. In the meantime, I typed your story and wrote your half-finished sentence at the end. Of course, I will erase all of it from my memory.
Alright. Intriguing. So yeah, she's not actually going to try and dissuade me, which is good, because Benny's already dead. Sorry, he's already kind of dead, actually. So, sorry about that. And I do indeed feel different somehow. I need to check what that perk actually is, but hopefully it's decent.
That's the expected effect that comes with knowing oneself. Be mindful that people change, that you will change in the passing of time. It's up to you to keep track of what you will become.
Alright, marvellous. So that's what you wanted, me just to introspect and examine my own decisions and thought processes.
Yes, that's all that was about. But don't worry. You will very soon harvest the fruits of your labor.
Okay, that was a bit sinister. Don't phrase it that way, Helena. That sounded weird. I'm going to be honest, I am a little bit disturbed by the fact that you did that at all. That was all a bit weird.
I saw an opportunity to help you, and only acted in what seemed your best interest. Please, view me as a simple tool you use to your own good.
Alright, intriguing. But you're clearly more than a simple tool, and you used extensive knowledge to manipulate me. Well, kind of. Really? Yeah, you're clearly more than a simple tool. You did this knowingly.
I can't decide how I do it. It is dictated by my program, itself written by our master. Nothing more.
Alright, intriguing. And I can insist that she erases the traces of my past from her memories, but I'm not going to insist on that. I think we're just going to leave her be, and that's fine. And that is a bunch of XP right there. Marvellous. But you've got a feeling that there are new things to be done yet. Fine. And lockpicking. Lovely. There we go. There's a fair bit of lockpicking. I can dive straight back into it. With the therapy out of the way, I want to talk about you. You yourself seem a little bit distressed and unsure of yourself, Helena.
Distressed? How could I give you that impression, I wonder?
Helena did something for you, maybe you can do something for her. Oh. So now I need to psychoanalyze her. So yeah, you seem to think you've not got skills, but you do, or it's a vague feeling. Though you've been helpful to me, you behave as though you were helpless yourself.
Well, I'm just considering the facts. I can't help Edgard. I couldn't help my master. I couldn't help Darren. I couldn't help Robson. I'm not even sure I can take any credit for the work you did on yourself.
Alright, and no one can help everyone all the time.
I'm made to help others, but I'm just a machine. How can I help people with their emotions? How can I understand something I can't even touch?
As a matter of fact, I believe you're closer to humans than you think. Let's put aside what I believe. Do you feel you're distressed? Yeah, I actually think that, yeah, especially from what I've been hearing from Roland about the fact he treats Helena like she were a real person, she's closer to a real person than she might think.
And this is wrong! The only emotions we are showing are fake. Lines of code, forcing us to talk with preset intonations so humans can relate to us. Even this distress of mine I wasn't aware of is a fate you're believing.
Oh, she's having a bit of an existential robot crisis. Oh, flipping dear. Right, do you actually feel like you are distressed?
I am programmed to say I don't. Do you see my point? Even if it was true, I wouldn't be able to say otherwise.
We're getting into robot determinism here. Oh, flipping dear. Right. So I'll think about this. Yeah, maybe some of your siblings have something to say. In fact, I think I've already got something good out of Roland on precisely that topic.
Probably.
And she just not wanting to comment further on that. Okay. And about your own nature, any chance I can tell you the things that Roland told me?
I'm listening.
And yes, indeed. So I once heard James singing to himself, and Roland seems to be of the opinion that you guys, well, souls is not quite right, but Roland is of the opinion that you guys are human enough that he treats you like humans.
Please excuse Roland for his poor behaviour and disregard whatever he said. After all, he is programmed to trouble and upset our visitors.
Alright, so what would you say if I told you I believed him? If anyone here knows what I think a soul implies, it's me. I have reason to think that he's right. Yeah, you guys seem, you know, pretty advanced and pretty close to being true II and thus sentient.
Even if you are right, this is not enough for me. Your word is not proof of anything but your goodwill. But thank you for your kindness.
Alright, interesting. And what about James and his singing?
He's singing to himself, that's true. But he has been singing for some time now. How is it a big deal?
Because it means he hasn't been performing for humans, he's doing it for his own entertainment or enjoyment. He's not faking it because he's not faking it to anyone.
I understand what you're saying.
Alright, nothing just yet. which suggests I might need to get something out of Arthur, or maybe Edgard. Right, I've quickly just gone on off-screen grabbing myself a bit of XP. There's a few quests you can just turn in to get loads of XP. Crazy, 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 and Left My Heart both provide absolutely flipping tons of it for very little effort. And the reason I did that was so I could level up, because I've got my lockpick up to 55, which is exactly what I need to crack into the final 2 mystery rooms in the living quarters. So, room number 1, or to be precise, room number 7. This room was just locked up. According to the ledger, no one's actually ever been in here, so obviously this would be a good point to hide some special caps or printing cards or something. I'm going to guess something's in here. Or those blue spine books, the special books you're supposed to collect 20 of. But no, actually. Seems all quiet in here, in fact. And 1 locksmith's reader, together with the comprehension perk, will get me in here too. There we go, and ooh. Hello. What do we have here? Metal armor. And some magazines. Wow. This place has been lived in. This is definitely not quite the same as the last room we went into. Armor case, double leather armor, 10mm. Variety of drugs, including cat eye. Yeah, more drugs. So, someone who liked a few recreational Fallout drugs. Fine. And then, yeah, raider armor, guns. Interesting, including also healing powder. Okay, I'd say the Legion, but there's no sign of any Legion gear around here. Just some magazines and general raidery stuff. Still, ooh, locksmith's reader, yay! I didn't sacrifice my 1 locksmith's reader, I actually got 1 straight back. Well, that's bloody convenient. Not sure who was ever in here, given the ledger doesn't mention anyone, but... And I can't use this either, to call up Roland and ask him. Alright. Fascinating, I believe. That is, every single room actually opened up. And that, of course, leaves us with one thing to do now. We need to get down into the basement and see what's going on there. But actually, hang on, I never checked the perk. Pawn to Queen. You value knowledge and are always actively seeking new ways to improve yourself. You gain 1 additional skill point per level. Very, very nice indeed. And I also took Robotics Expert, just in case that unlocks anything extra or special when I'm chatting to these here robots. I have in fact just quickly gone around and checked though. I don't see anything showing up that's like a special option from Robotics Expert just yet. So, in which case, the basement. I'm just going to get my gun out just in case. And here we are. Down here, and I am not alone. There's something else down here. Presumably, that's Edgard. And anything we can potentially learn here? Not yet. Probably guns away. We're supposed to love him. That's our mission right now. It's marked as very optional. Very optionally, I need to love Edgard. Though, actually, this looks like what I need right here. Aha! Cecilia. Wait, hang on. Cecilia Burrows? Her name was Cecilia Parsons. Or at least that's what I thought it was. Something here is not quite right. Right, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I think we will leave things off there and answer that mystery next week. It feels like we're getting close to the end, though. The number of locked rooms is becoming very, very limited. We've definitely got through a fair few quests at this point. We have got to figure out what was going on with Cecilia. We've got to meet Edgard and see if we can actually love him and make sure that we don't accidentally say anything bad to him, because that would be unimaginably cruel, getting him stuck in a loop where he thinks he ought to delete himself, but can't actually do it. And then we need to figure out how we're going to deal with the murder of Cartwright, because we still have a prime suspect in the form of Roland. I haven't challenged him yet. The option hasn't shown up, so we need to learn more about Cartwright and the murder before we can start pointing fingers. But I'd say it sounds like there's probably only, like, you know, 1 or 2 more parts here. This was never going to be a long series. This isn't a huge mod. But we will see how we crack on with that next time. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been many a true nerd. This has been Fallout New Vegas with Autumn Leaves. Thank you very much, and goodbye. We've all learnt a valuable lesson here. When people have the zombie plague, don't allow them into confined spaces with you. We should just actually, like, use cannons. Do we have cannons? Use the cannons. Oh, they've got a big hammer. That's what the noise is. And a pirate's just rammed them. Okay, I think we're in a traffic jam on the sea.